Hi, how are we doing? I'm Sebastian, and I'm the fine arts speaker this year. So for those of you who don't know, I've been here since third grade, and throughout my time here, I've been a part of many of the fine arts programs, including orchestra, symphonic, and jazz band, and even drama. But my proudest achievement while I was here would probably have been getting to lead my peers in worship every Tuesday at chapel. As someone who loves worship and led worship for a majority of my years here at Westminster, I began to see how God masterfully intertwines the arts and spirituality. The relationship that art shares with our day-to-day is one of the most divine connections we have between us and God. Throughout high school, I was never really the type to cause much trouble or demand much attention in my classes. I always tried to approach my teachers, faculty, and classmates with respect and stay in my lane. However, I have this one habit that has driven more than one teacher a little crazy, and it's my tendency to wear my AirPods all the time. I always have them in, and I really just can't help myself. Teachers would always say that AirPods distract you, or how could you focus with that music on? But it's hard to explain the gaping empty space that takes up my mind when I don't have my music. That life to me feels so loud without it. The great writer, Frederick Buechner, once said, "The place God calls you to is a place where your gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." I believe that the realization this quote brought to me was that it's only natural that I'm this way. If I was made in the Creator's image, wouldn't that explain why I can never escape my creative calling? I find it kind of funny that we forget that God is more than a spirit in the sky and that he's a literal creator. Take nature, for instance. If you don't believe that God was using his divine creativity to design the world around us, then you're not looking close enough. The veins in every leaf, the near flawless symmetry and fluidity. The world around us is a canvas painted on by the ultimate creator. So it's only natural that we as artists, and I mean every student up here that was in a fine art, are called to create. God made us that way, and it's in our code. And if you don't consider yourself an artist or creator, think again, because God would never exclude you. Think about it like this. Every dad who went to Home Depot and couldn't decide on a tile pattern knows the struggle of a creator, right? They know what it's like to stress over choosing the right glue only to get home and realize they forgot to buy the caulking gun. I bet you still managed to get it done though, and I bet you were proud of it, and I bet you bragged your friends about your subtle use of subway tile, right? Whatever. But you chose a lot, right? For instance, every parent that had to choose the name of their child knows what it's like to be an artist, you're a creator. And they may not give you credit, but you painted a lot more than their first room. You painted who we are and what music we like, what movies we watch. I mean, Cars is still one of my favorite movies. The beautiful part is the things we love most are the things that remind us of home. Homes that you guys created with your creative minds. I'm sure that you now see your son or daughter walking across the stage and look on with so much pride. Why is that? That accomplished feeling that courses through your veins is that of an artist. You know what it's like to have created something, to satisfy the world's deep hunger. You know what it's like to make hard decisions and stick by them, even when your rough drafts seem rougher than usual. Sorry, Mom. You also made an important decision when you chose to send your son or daughter to Westminster. In the same way that an artist chooses their palette or a band director chooses their arrangement, you chose their environment. I'm actually super thankful for Westminster, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, because we know the head start we've been blessed with. The true value of Westminster is not in the lessons we learned in math or economics. It was the lessons we learned in life from teachers who wanted to see us succeed. In band, Mr. Carlson taught me that I shouldn't play my instrument when people were talking, right? It only took a couple markers thrown across the room, but we got there. Now I know the power in silence and how choosing when to play or speak is far more powerful than riffing off all the time. In economics, when I would get sidetracked, Mr. Gonzalez would say, "Don't miss the whole forest because you're staring at one tree." And to a 6th period Gov class that was itching to be released, it was always a really good laugh when he said that. However, it's so true. I actually think there's a bit of advice all of us on stage should take here going into this next chapter. Whenever we have our heads down and are caught up in the labyrinth of our own lives, I think it'd be great to remember to look up every now and then. I promise it won't hurt to look at the forest. It was the little bits of wisdom like that that changed the way I go about life. And Westminster is full of people who care. People like Ms. Suarez and Ms. Saldana, who both played such vital roles in helping me make tough decisions. The care they showed helped remind me that I wasn't in it alone, and anyone up here who's gotten to know them or any of the CCC staff would say the same. Similar to how our experience here at Westminster shaped us, it's only natural that we begin to shape those around us. As you all go off to your new cities and new schools to meet new people and study new things, you'll notice how you mold to your environment, but also that others will begin to be shaped by you. I encourage all of us to really step into our roles as creators and let our influence be shown on others. Our teachers and parents have spent so much time chiseling away at the blocks of granite we once were. but it would be the greatest waste of all to not inspire or influence others. This is really where the beauty of Westminster became apparent to me, because I genuinely feel as though we've all been shaped into forms that not only honor where we came from, but also honor God. Even the habits that we at first wanted to reject and thought were pointless in terms of the big picture now show to be the most important aspects of who we are. Think about the detail that really makes art great. For example, Michelangelo's intense detail in the sculpture of David. I mean, that sculpture looked at as a whole is one of the longest lasting marvels of art and progression of the human collective. But what really makes it great are the tiny minutiae, the veins sculpted that are near naked to the human eye. We've been crafted in the same way, with intense detail, and now it's our turn to inspire, influence, and sculpt the world in which we live in. As I reflect, there's one more thing that really made me fall in love with Westminster, and that's you guys, my peers. I even learned to love the middle schoolers, leading worship for middle school, and seeing them grow in their faith had to be one of the best accomplishments of my life. And in high school, worshiping with, I loved you guys, yeah, really. So, with that being said, I really wouldn't trade any of you for the world, because everyone up here is a work of art that the world has been waiting to see. The trust that I have in the people here is comparable to that of family. And that's how I'd like to always remember Westminster, as a family. Thank you all, and go Warriors.